Hey guys, I'm a Dimension Jumper and today I'll be doing my top 5 least favourite collectibles in the Zelda series. Now, when it comes to collectibles in the series, there are several quite well known ones like the heart pieces that you can find to increase your heart capacity, the masks from Majora's Mask, and a variety of other bits and pieces. And there are some really cool ones you can collect, and I think with those, some of the ones like the heart pieces, with those ones specifically, you can find them in a variety of weird and strange places, but in a good way, because like some of them are like out in the open, some of them you have to find more carefully, some of them are behind side quests, that sort of thing. But there are some ones that I feel like aren't as fun to collect, in my opinion, and can be sometimes a bit tedious sometimes, and a bit time consuming when compared to some of the other collectibles in the series. So yeah. So for number 5 are the golden bugs from Twilight Princess. Now with the golden bugs, I think they are an interesting thing to collect. They are an interesting thing to collect because there are about 20 ish, maybe 20 or more golden bugs to collect, and they're scattered throughout the whole of Hyrule. And you have to collect, for all the bugs that you have to collect, there are about 2 in total to collect. So you have to find one of them, and then if you find one of them, you'll be given a small hint of where you found it, and that I think that hint sort of tells you where to find the other one. For example, there's one of the bugs you can collect are snails, and they are both found in the Temple of Time. Now, for one of them, they can be found in the rubble area of the game, or of the temple, and the other one can be found when you go back to the Temple of Time, or once you've just about finished it, before you go collect the next shard of the Mirror of Twilight. And yeah, I think when it comes to that, it's a fascinating way of, or well, more like a fun game of hide and seek, sort of, where just you have to go through the whole world and find all these bugs. I think the main problem is, or one of the main problems is that they are quite small to find. They're easy to find because they have a bit of a twinkle and they glow compared to other bugs in the games. I just think if it wasn't for their glow and um the shimmering, they would be hard to find. And once you've collected all of them, you will be given the giant's wallet, which can hold the maximum amount of rupees that you can use in the game. So at least it's not totally pointless. So yeah, I'd say the golden bugs, I think they can be tedious if you want to try and get all of them. But yeah, it's like it could be. I think they're alright. So yeah. For number 4 are the ship parts from Phantom Hourglass. Now with these, now I did talk about them a bit a few weeks ago, in my least favorite collectibles in video games. So I won't try and tread too much where I talk there. So when it comes to the ship parts, they are a fun thing to collect in Phantom Hourglass because that means more customization options. You can mix and match different ship parts here and there. You can get a different hull, a different 2 different wheels, or I think 1 set of different wheels, a different cannon, that sort of thing. And it's a really fun thing of just mixing and matching all the different ship parts together. I just think there's too many of this. You'll just get sort of too many of the same ship parts, so you might get the same cannon, the same wheels, multiple times, and yeah, it does. It's kind of annoying, and I think Spirit Tracks did fix this a bit, or a whole lot, in that if you want to collect certain train parts, you'll have to find specific materials, which is a bit tedious to do, but I think it's worth it when you do collect those specific parts of the train. So yeah, so with the ship parts from Phantom Hourglass, it's fun, but you do get a whole lot of duplicates. So yeah. For number 3 are the Compendium picks from Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. Now, the Compendium, I think, is an interesting way or to put into the game, because it's basically this thing where it helps catalog all the different enemies and weapons and variety of other things that you can find in both Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. It's just that there's so many stuff to collect, like to take pictures of. Now, the easiest way to do that is, or to fill every single page, is to basically buy those pages, and it's nice to do that. I think it again is a bit tedious of just either doing it yourself by just taking hundreds and hundreds of pictures, or just finding a lot of ways of increasing your rupee count and just buying all the pictures at once. And yeah, and for taking the pictures specifically, I think there will be times where you will have thought you might not have taken a picture of, let's say, one of the main enemies, let's say a goblin or a moblin, but you actually have. So I think the more you take pictures of, the more you have to check through your compendium, seeing which enemies you've already taken pictures of. So yeah, but I think as a collectible, they're nice. I think it does take a long time to try and fill every single page. So yeah. For number 2 are the Sands of Hours from Phantom Hourglass. Now, with the Sands of Hours, I'm mainly talking about the ones you can find in the overworld, not the ones that the bosses have. And what I mean by this is that in Phantom Hourglass, similar to the Wind Waker, you can find various sea charts or sea maps, and these maps or charts have different treasure points that you can find on different parts of the map, and some of them are the Sands of Hours, and this is kind of like one more. It's fun to find them. It's just a bit tedious because depending on how much or how many sea charts or sea maps you have, it'll be like trying to find a needle in a haystack. It's very difficult to just try and find each Sand of Hours, and then it'll increase your time in the Phantom Hourglass. In terms of gameplay, in terms of the game, they are kind of necessary if you want to get some extra time in the Temple of the Ocean King. But trying to find them specifically, there's mainly about finding them specifically. It is kind of difficult and a lot of time consuming if you have a lot of sea charts. So yeah. And for number 1 are the Stray Fairies from Majora's Mask. Now, with the Stray Fairies, they are, in terms of the main story, not necessary, but necessary if you want to increase some parts of either your heart, your magic, that sort of thing. And you are given a way to find them, that being the Stray Fairy Mask, or no, the Great Fairy Mask. And they can be found, or the Stray Fairies can be found in every single one of the dungeons that you come across in the game. I think when it comes to finding them, it can be, again, like with the Sands of Hours, a bit tedious in that there's about 15 in each temple, and they can be found out in the open or in chests. Or I think there's two in some mini bosses in the game. So yeah, and the Great Fairy Mask does help in telling you, okay, there's some fairies in the particular room that you might be in, but I don't think it tells you how many there are. It just says, oh, okay, there's some fairies in this room, and I think it does that by having the hair sort of levitate a bit, so like floating a bit, and I think that there are nice additions in terms of collectibles and trying to have your magic bar increase, having your hearts take less damage, that sort of thing. I just think the Stray Fairies are kind of a hassle, a bit tedious, and I think it just depends on the person who you might ask. But I think the Stray Fairies are kind of annoying to collect because there's just so many, and the Great Fairy Mask, even though it does help, doesn't help you. It doesn't tell you how many there might have been in a particular room. So Yeah. So that's been my top 5 least favourite Zelda collectibles. I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe. And I'll see you in the next video.